Hello all, and welcome to this evening's beer review, which I am dubbing the Slight Shift Change Beer Review, Big Burrito Beer Review, because I had a big burrito and my shift changes, so yeah, it's a little bit later. It's about 6-ish right now, and I'm ready to review a beer. And we are reviewing from the Growler today. And as you know, I mostly review local beers, so I'm glad to be back at reviewing very local beers. And what am I going to be reviewing tonight? Well, this one is called Pale Rider Grisette. And what's a Grisette, you might ask? A Grisette is a little-known ale style from Belgium that is kind of coming to be experimented with by American craft brewers. And what is a Grisette? Grisette is sort of a subsection of the Belgian Saison, in that it comes from a certain area of Belgium. I can't remember the province off the top of my head. I think Hounce. I don't know. I'm probably slaughtering the French or Flemish, as it were. And it is a style that was brewed for miners, much in the style of Saison. It's supposed to be a light, refreshing beer. I don't know too much about it at that. I know it's rather on the tart side, and it also has that nice phenolic kick from the Belgian yeast. And it's light. This particular one from Big Island Brewhaus, by the way, Pale Rider Grisette from Big Island Brewhaus, since I didn't say brewery right away up top of that, but it's going to be in the text, so why am I yammering on? And 4.6 ABV, about 27 IBU. So not really quite a sour, but not sweet either. So definitely on the dry side. And not really super hoppy. Enough there that the hops are a dimension of it, but not so much that it kind of overcomes the Belgian yeast aspect of it. Well, without further ado, let's go and give this a try here. If I can open this, that is. Okay. Technical difficulties, folks. There we go. When all else fails, use your legs as leverage. Oh, look at this. There's like a head of foam just kind of rising from here. Wow. Very nicely carbonated, which is strange coming from my growler, which tends not to be very well carbonated. And we have sort of a nice straw yellow with slight golden overtones, very hazy. Again, nicely carbonated with a fluffy white head. Whitehead has some sour notes to it on the base. On top, kind of citrusy hop notes, citrusy and floral hop notes. And all around the center is that sort of Belgian yeast, Belgian Saison smell. But all in all, pretty attenuated, which makes sense given the extreme lightness of the body here. This is the definition of a session ale at 4.6 ABV. It should go down nice and smooth. But I'm still just going to enjoy that that funky, that slightly tart funkiness and that Belgian yeasty kind of funkiness going on there. It's a nice interplay. Very light, very refreshing. big flavor in the midst, almost like a white wine kind of flavor. On top of that white wine flavor, brief flash of hop bitterness, slightly citrus zest. Completely clears the palate. Just a slight sort of phenolic funkiness as a lasting finish. In the front to mids is where the citrus kick kind of goes there, but doesn't really last. It's a brief, intense flash. Underneath that citrus, almost juicy pear-like notes. All in all, not much depth taste-wise in that all the flavors are kind of there really quick. But what do you expect with the 4.6 ABV? Not much in the way of any notes from the malts. The yeast kind of take care of that. I think that they probably used up quite a bit. There is a slight, you can tell that there is some sugars in there remaining, but you know, so it's not completely bone dry. Definitely on the dry side, definitely refreshing, but still little hints that go to show you that, you know, there's still some malt sugars left there. And I would say that the definite strong notes are that sort of saison funkiness with that very subtle tartness in the front to mids that's there in the flash and then gone, leaving just sort of a phenolic aftertaste on the finish that lasts. So how does it compare to a saison? Well, the funk is definitely slightly less. Can't really sense much in the way of the malts. Definitely comes across as a bit lighter bodied than your typical Belgian saison. Not very much so, but just ever so more light, you know, lighter bodied, with a bigger kick of acidity to it, but not a huge kick of acidity to it. If one does not like, you know, sort of tart flavors to the beer, even though it's very subtle, here you can definitely say that this is a tart beer. And you know, if you don't like acidity in beer, you probably won't like this. If you don't like that sort of Belgian saison funk, you definitely won't like this, because it's definitely here in spades, especially as it's warming up. All in all, very refreshing. Very much a beach ale, I would say. Yeah, definitely can feel how low the ABV is, because I'm not getting much of a buzz off of this, but that's okay. That's what session ales are for. I can finish this growler and, you know, have some of the leftover heavy-bodied Christmas ales with dessert later. And all in all, I like this style. I hope to see more of it. Probably won't anytime soon, considering that this is not... This doesn't strike me as an easy-to-make style, and with the extreme sessionability of it, probably not the most marketable for most brewers. And I think I've had this rant before about the disdain for sessionable beers, anything under 5.0 ABV, is not really worth your time, which I completely 100% disagree with. My favorite beer in the world is 4.9 ABV. I would love for there to be more explorations of sessionable styles that, especially traditional styles that are almost falling to the wayside. But when this was resurrected, there was still only one. There was only one Belgian brewery still doing a traditional Grisette. I don't know if the craft one is really a strict one according to the rules of how. I don't know that much about the style. I do know that what counts as a farmhouse ale in Belgium is not the same as a farmhouse ale in craft brewers in the United States. Same with lambics and whatnot. This is definitely taking on a very unique nose as it warms up. The funk is like a Saison funk, but just different. It's reminiscent of it, but slightly different in its own way. Explore it if you get a chance. Well, that's your beer review for tonight, folks. Pale Rider Grisette, a lesser-known Belgian style, slightly reminiscent of a Belgian Saison, but also not. Give it a shot, perhaps, if this is your wheelhouse, as it were. That's a beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.